A new report has revealed a brand new Yankees pitching target that the Yankees are definitely going to consider, according to Jeff Passan. We're going to be talking about this, who this is, and why this is a very interesting signing for the Yankees to choose to make in this offseason. Before we get into all of this news here, we know 70% of you guys watching right now are not subscribed to the channel. If you're looking for a spot to get all of your New York Yankees news, you're in the right spot. Hit the sub button, join us here on the channel. We're covering everything New York Yankees, and we have a very busy offseason ahead of us, so you won't want to miss a beat. But without any further ado, we need to get into this and discuss what's going on right now. The Yankees are targeting a star pitcher, a recent World Series winner, to be exact, according to Jeff Passan. Now, this is a very interesting one, so immediately I want you guys to listen closely. Let me know what you think in the comments below, because I'm expecting some mixed opinions on this one. But going into our first screenshot here, as you see, Jack Flaherty was acquired by the Dodgers at the trade deadline. Among other teams trying to add him were the Yankees, and obviously that did not happen, and Flaherty was a big piece of the Dodgers World Series title. However, the Dodgers may not be willing to give him a huge deal, with Glasnow, Ohtani, and Kershaw all set to return in 2025. So this came out, and then a report from Jeff Passan came out and said this. He says, if the Washington Nationals decide to spend off on an anchor for their rotation, Flaherty could make sense, and the Yankees, who killed a deal for Flaherty at the trade deadline out of concerns of his back, could be in again. Now, this is a very interesting one, first of all, because he is a starting pitcher. We know that the Yankees could be looking for a starting pitcher. Whether they choose to add another elite one among Gerrit Cole as well is yet to be determined, and that's going to be, I think, something we see as the offseason progresses. And we also have Roki Sasaki. We know he's going to be in the MLB free agent pool as well. The Yankees could be looking at him, although he would be incredibly more expensive than Jack Flaherty. And the way Jeff Passan described Jack Flaherty in this offseason is a 9-figure pitcher at making $100 million. And it is still yet to be determined if or if not he will be making that. And I'm sure many teams that are going to be in on him will be having a bidding war. And there's quite a high chance that it would get up to that number, but it all depends if the Yankees, if whoever else is in on it, are willing to go that high, because the Yankees did, kind of kill the deal for him last year at the trade deadline because of the back end. Although we did see him pitch well after the trade deadline, it is still yet to be determined if that could respark, if something like that could continue to happen or kind of bleed through again. And, if we have seen a full offseason of recovery and he was pitching well at the end of this season, maybe not. Maybe things are fine and like that, but there still is that concern there, at least in many people's minds and many ideas of what his health will kind of turn into and look like come next season as he gets older. And kind of looking at what we're seeing right now, last season, as you can see, with the Dodgers, pretty good end of the season, 3.58 ERA and a 2.95 with the Tigers before that. And as you've seen, the few years before, he was a bit of a good pitcher, but there were some opportunities where he definitely did not have the success that he now having. And of course, that was with Baltimore, the 6.75 ERA, although only a 1-3 record, 9 games. And as you kind of go down through there with St. Louis and everything, he's a good pitcher. There's no way you can't say he's bad, but the recent success that he had found was really last year. That was really the Jack Flaherty that is going to be getting paid in this offseason. But 28 years old, 29, going on 30 over the next few seasons. He is going to get older, which we know pitchers can get better as they get older, but with kind of the injury history of him, it's yet to be kind of determined if he's going to be in that category of pitchers that just continue to become amazing as they do get older. And having Jack Flaherty amongst this rotation is still one that the Yankees, I'm sure, would love to see, but the price, I think, is going to be a big factor, but along with the health, and kind of using those two in unison to kind of determine if this pitcher, Jack Flaherty, will be worth adding to the current rotation of Gerrit Cole, who declined the offer. He's still going to be with the Yankees, so we don't have to worry about that. Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt, and Luis Gil. And it will be an interesting thing to see what the route is, because we know that they're going to be targeting Juan Soto first of all, and that's going to be the main priority. And then if Juan Soto does not sign with the Yankees, it will be kind of going through the many names that me and Chris have kind of discussed over the past few days, and Nolan Arenado, Willy Adames, Anthony Santander, Teoscar Hernandez, Christian Walker, they're going to try and figure out their fielding and hitting first over the pitching. The pitching is fine right now. You don't need another name like Jack Flaherty to go out here and actually find the success that you were looking for. That will be completely fine, and that's exactly what the Yankees are comfortable with. They're not expecting anything, any breakthrough of a pitcher needed to become a better team. They already have that. But going on and looking at what the market value is for Jack Flaherty kind of goes into the point where we're discussing it will depend on his health and what teams are really willing to give him with that in mind. And as you see, the current contract for this past season was a 1 year, $14 million AAV, but going to the market value is projected 3 years at $60 million, which comes up to about $20 million a season. So among the MLB ranked 49th and starting pitcher ranked as 14th. So in the top 15 ranked for pitchers for Jack Flaherty for really only having a good season this year with a lot of uncertainty in previous seasons with health concerns. It will be, interesting to see. First of all, the price that teams will be willing to pay, and in this case, the Yankees. Will they be willing to pay $20 million a year for, well, depending if Jack Flaherty wants 3 to 5 or whatever other team are offering? Jeff Passan's kind of saying nine figures, which would at least be 5 years at $20 million. Whether or not they want to give him that for that term, or whether or not the $20 million will be kind of in the discussions for Jack Flaherty and other teams. And it is a bit of an interesting one to kind of look at. There's no real yes or no option, at least in my opinion right now, on Jack Flaherty. I'm kind of leaning no, but we've seen how good he was this past season. We know how good he can be and how good he can be in the right situation with a team that got support for him and everything. So it will be interesting to see. It really, really will be if the Yankees kind of teeter around the edge of this contract negotiations or whether they dive full in. And I guess it all depends on exactly what happens with Soto, what happens with the other signings, and kind of who they're targeting first as a number one priority, not just in the pitching sense, but in the whole helping this team out sense. And we know there are other starting pitchers. We know Jack Flaherty is not the only option. Roki Sasaki still is, but if we're kind of negotiating or contemplating this contract for Jack Flaherty, we're only going to be contemplating more for Roki Sasaki, even though he fully has a lot of potential and much younger than Jack Flaherty. Jack Flaherty's still not old and still has a lot of time to grow as a pitcher. At only 28 years old, we know pitching ages can find their prime at 35 to 40 in the, extreme sense, but Jack Flaherty still has a lot of time to develop, and I think the Yankees wouldn't hate the idea of bringing him in, but when we're going up to these 3 to 5 year deals at $20 million, that could be a little bit of a concerning point for the Yankees. So let me know what you think. Do you think Jack Flaherty could become a Yankee, first of all? And if not, do you think that the price tag is going to be the issue, the injury history going to be the issue? I do think the Yankees are going to at least consider it. However, I'm not positive on the signing going to be their main priority or their main target or main goal in this offseason, but I do think that the Yankees will circle back on him, especially at what had happened at the end of last season in the playoffs and the World Series. So let me know what you think. It's going to be an interesting one to see, but that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, hit the sub button as well, and let me know what other pitchers you would be interested in the Yankees trying to acquire in this free agency, whether that is via trade or free agency. Let me know what you think, as well as Jack Flaherty in this sense of the imagination. But as I mentioned, that's all I got. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.